Hey, quick question. If someone offered you $73 trillion for your house, would you sell? Like, think about it. That's enough money to buy every Marvel movie ever made, watch them all once, realize you wasted your time, and still have $72 trillion left over. Keep that in mind, because that's basically what's happening with Greenland right now. Except the house is the size of Mexico and covered in enough ice to cool every drink at every party forever. So you've seen the headlines. Trump wants to buy Greenland. Again. And you're sitting there thinking, wait, can you just buy countries? Is there like a Zillow for nations? Does it come with appliances? What's the HOA situation? Stick around because I'm about to explain why everyone suddenly wants this giant ice cube. And spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with making the world's largest snow cone. Alright, the basics. What is Greenland? First of all, worst name ever. It's like 80% ice. They did it intentionally. But it's like naming your bald friend Harry. False advertising at its finest. Greenland is the world's largest island, technically owned by Denmark. But it's complicated. Think of it like a 25-year-old still on their parents' phone plan. Connected, but also not really. Doing their own thing, making their own questionable decisions, definitely not asking for permission before getting that tattoo. About 56,000 people live there. For context, that's less than attend a single Taylor Swift concert. These people are spread across an area 3 times the size of Texas, and most of it is covered in ice up to 2 miles thick. That's not ice. That's a commitment issue frozen in time. Now, for most of human history, nobody cared about Greenland. It was cold, remote, and the main activity was contemplating your life choices while avoiding polar bears. But 3 things changed that turned Greenland from forgotten freezer to hottest real estate on Earth. Climate change, rare earth minerals, and Arctic shipping routes. Greenland basically had a glow-up, and now everyone wants to sit at its lunch table. Let's talk climate change, but hear me out. Not in the sad way. From a cold, pure economics perspective, that melting ice is revealing resources that were locked in a frozen vault for thousands of years. It's like cleaning out your grandma's attic and finding out she was hoarding vintage comic books and Bitcoin. You're sad about the circumstances, obviously. But also, holy crap. Is that a first edition Spider-Man? Underneath all that ice, Greenland is sitting on massive deposits of rare earth elements. Now, these sound fake. Neodymium, dysprosium, praseodymium. These sound like spells from Harry Potter. Expecto neodymium. But they're real. And here's why you care. They're in everything. Your phone, your laptop, electric cars, wind turbines, every piece of modern technology has these things. They're the gluten of electronics, just in everything whether you know it or not. Here's the problem. China controls 70% of rare earth production and 90% of refining. Let me translate that into elementary school terms. One kid has all the pencils, every single pencil in school, and you've got a test. That kid now has more power than the person who controls the thermostat. They decide who gets pencils, how much they cost, and if they're having a bad day, nobody gets pencils and everyone fails. That's America with China right now, except instead of pencils, it's the stuff we need for fighter jets and iPhones. Greenland has one of the world's largest untapped rare earth deposits. We're talking trillions of dollars. Not millions, not billions, trillions with a T. There's also uranium for nuclear power and spicy military applications. Plus zinc, gold, and rubies, because apparently Greenland looked at its resume and said, you know what this needs? Gemstones. Really flex on everyone. But wait, there's more. Let's talk geography, because location, location, location. Look at a map. Greenland sits between North America and Europe, right at the entrance to the Arctic Ocean. For decades this didn't matter because the Arctic was frozen solid. Having access to the Arctic was like having a shortcut through a brick wall. Technically a shortcut, completely useless. But now the ice is melting and the Northwest Passage is opening up. This is a shipping route through the Arctic connecting the Atlantic and Pacific. Right now, to ship stuff from Europe to Asia, you go all the way around through the Suez Canal, you know, where that ship got stuck and broke the internet. Or around Africa like you're a 15th century explorer afraid of sea monsters. The Northwest Passage cuts thousands of miles off that trip. 10 to 15 days of shipping time saved. That's like finding out there's been a shortcut to work this whole time, and you've been sitting in traffic like a chump. Whoever controls these Arctic routes has serious leverage. It's like owning the only gas station on a highway. You don't own the road, but everyone's got to stop and pay you. Now let's add military drama, because why not? Greenland hosts Patuffik Space Base, America's northernmost military installation. This base watches for missiles, tracks satellites, and keeps tabs on what Russia's doing in the Arctic. It's basically a giant security camera pointed at your neighbor who keeps doing weird stuff at 3 a.m. Russia's been going full Arctic renovation mode. They've reopened old Soviet bases, built new ones, and they have 40 icebreaker ships. America has two. That's like showing up to a snowball fight with one snowball while the other guy brought a snowplow and 3 backup plows. China, which isn't even an Arctic country, they're nowhere near it, called themselves a near-Arctic state. That's like me calling myself a near-professional athlete because I own gym shoes and sometimes think about exercising. But they're building icebreakers and investing heavily because they see where this is going. So you're probably wondering, can you actually buy a country? Is there a Craigslist section I'm missing? Well, America's done it before. We bought Louisiana from France in 1803. Just bought it. We bought Alaska from Russia in 1867 for $7 million. People called it Seward's Folly, the dumbest idea ever. Turns out Alaska has oil, gold, fish, and incredible military value. Best $7 million ever spent. We even bought the U.S. Virgin Islands from Denmark in 1917. We actually tried to buy Greenland in 1946, offered $100 million. Denmark said no. Trump brought it up again in 2019, and Denmark's prime minister called it absurd, which in diplomatic speak means, are you out of your entire mind right now? Here's the thing. Greenland doesn't want to be bought. The people there have their own identity, their own government, their own opinions. This isn't the 1800s when you could trade territories like Pokemon cards. Greenland's moving toward independence from Denmark, not shopping for a new boss. What the US actually wants isn't ownership, it's access and influence. They want to invest in infrastructure, maintain military bases, keep American companies involved in mining, and make sure China and Russia don't become Greenland's new besties. It's less buying your house, more like, hey, let me invest in your business, help you renovate, maybe crash on your couch sometimes, and also keep those weird guys down the street from hanging around too much. China's already making moves. Chinese companies have tried investing in Greenland's mines, offered to build airports, expanded research. Greenland and Denmark pushed back because they recognize if China builds your airport and owns your mines, suddenly you're making decisions based on what Beijing wants, not what's best for you. Greenland's in a fascinating spot. They have resources that could make them wealthy, but they need outside money to develop them. Every investor comes with strings attached, though. It's like being a kid with a great lemonade stand idea, but you need someone to loan you money for lemons and sugar, and whoever gives you that money wants to run the stand and take most of the profits. Let me break down the trade stuff. Global shipping goes through a few major choke points: Suez Canal, Panama Canal, Strait of Malacca. If any close, like when that container ship went sideways in the Suez, global trade has a panic attack. The Arctic represents a potential new route that bypasses all of them. And Greenland sits right at the entrance. It's like owning beachfront property right before everyone discovers the beach exists. So why does Greenland matter? 1. Rare earth elements worth trillions that reduce dependence on China. 2. Military location for defense and keeping an eye on Russia. 3. Gateway to Arctic shipping that could reshape global trade. 4. Geopolitical influence. Whoever's got Greenland's ear has a say in Arctic policy. 5. Fishing rights in warming waters worth billions. This is trending now because everything's converging. Ice melting faster, China and Russia more aggressive, supply chains exposed during COVID, and we need these rare earths for electric vehicles and green energy. Greenland went from frozen afterthought to strategic jackpot basically overnight. Will Greenland actually get bought? Almost definitely not. Denmark says it's not for sale, Greenland's not interested, and international law has evolved since colonial times. But will the US increase investment and presence? Absolutely. Will China and Russia try to do the same? You bet. Will Greenland play these powers against each other to get the best deal? That's exactly what they should do. Good for them. The real story isn't about buying Greenland. It's that the Arctic's becoming the next great frontier, and Greenland's sitting in the middle. Climate change is redrawing the map of global power. Resources that were unreachable are now accessible. Routes that were closed are opening. An island most people couldn't find on a map is now at the center of superpower competition. This is why everything connects. You can't understand Greenland without understanding rare earths, shipping routes, military bases, and ice melt all together. Next time you see a headline about Greenland, you'll know it's not random political theater. It's about resources, trade, military strategy, and global power. And now you understand it better than 99% of people scrolling past. If this made sense, hit that like button and subscribe because we break down economics and current events like this every week. Simple, clear, no confusion, and hopefully, at least mildly entertaining. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.